job. Good message. Guys, I just want a couple of one PA announcement. The Drive the Line that usually goes on Sunday is not happening tomorrow. So spread the word. They've canceled it for whatever reason for now. They're going to get it back up again next week. Lamont is still pretty ill right now, and they just decided to cancel it for this week, but it will be up and running again. Guys, I'm going to talk about something really quickly. I know we got a couple of speakers left and we got to get on the road, but I think it's an important message to talk about. A lot of people now are hearing a lot about common law and hearing what's going on in the world. I don't know if you heard of Christopher James and the Warrior's Call, but there's something that happens when you're born. When you're born, you're brought into this world with no documentation, no papers, no nothing. And you're birthed in a hospital. And what happens is the hospital produces just a register of your birth. It's not a birth certificate, just documentation saying that a kid was born that day, who the parents are. And then what happens from there is what we call an unlawful conversion. The government, for many countries, but we'll talk about Canada, they come in and they make up a birth certificate. And I know this is hard for people to understand, but Canada is a corporation. And that's all it is. It's a corporation, no different than McDonald's, no different than Burger King, no different than Tim Hortons. It's a corporation. I know this message is going to be hard for people to digest, but what happens is that corporation creates a birth certificate. Unbeknownst to you what they're doing with it, they take that birth certificate, and if you look on the back of the birth certificate and all your government ID, there's a number on it. On the back of your birth certificate is a QSIP number. And what that is, when you're born, the government, unbeknownst to you, takes out a bond against you from the world banks, and they estimate how much tax dollars they're going to get off you in your lifetime. And that's what they do. They take that money then, and they trade it on the stock market, and you become, essentially, a slave. That's the truth that most people don't know that need to know. So we have rights outside of that. What would you do if you were born and McDonald's showed up and gave you a piece of paper and said, hey, that's you? You'd laugh at it, right? But that's exactly what has happened with the Service Corporation in Canada. They created a document, and that document is all caps letters. And that all caps letters, when you capitalize something, it reduces the man. It reduces you to a lesser capacity. And then, foolishly, unbeknownst to us, we start acting in that capacity, and we start acting as that corporation. They've created a corporation in your name. It's an unlawful trespass, unlawful conversion. I know that you guys really don't, know what to do with this, but what happens then with that documentation? Like I said, they trade it on the stock market. They make money off you. Then they end up passing statutes, acts, laws, and all that under the corporation. Those laws, acts, statutes, and everything only apply to that legal fiction. It doesn't apply to you, the man or woman. As long as you act in that capacity, they can impose those restrictions on you, those acts, statutes, and all that, right? So if you stand in common law, you can actually you don't have to worry about the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. You don't have to worry about their corporation. And there's people doing that all over the world right now. And as I'm speaking right now, or maybe in a couple of hours from now, Christopher James from A Warrior's Call, I encourage everyone to look him up. He's speaking through video imaging, or whatever you call it, with Dolores Cahill from Ireland, and they're going to be speaking in Calgary. There's a protest going on out there. I encourage everyone to look him up, and he has right now a bunch of common law cases before the courts. He has one in Milton, Ontario that he's been working on for a couple of years, and right now the government don't know what to do, the courts don't know what to do with it. Everyone has a right, as a man or a woman, to access your public courthouses through common law. When you move into their courthouse and you use their documentation, you are acting in the rules of civil procedure. Civil procedure applies to the corporation. If you step outside of the corporation and know your rights, and you stand in common law, you can be free. And it's happening. On that note, I'm going to end it because we got a couple more speakers. I encourage anyone that is looking to open their business, to come and see me. Because what you can do, and it's being done, there's several people doing it, but there's a gentleman in Burlington right now. His name is Tim. He's got a water shop, bottled water, and Tim. You know Tim? There you go. So he's got a water shop. So about 6 weeks ago, he had some bylaw officers come in and scold him for not wearing a mask. Started scolding a couple of customers. One lady left actually crying. He kicked them out of the store. Reached out to Christopher James because he knew him. Christopher James produced a document and basically told them, you have no jurisdiction over him, the man. He done up the paperwork. I have the same paperwork here, and the bylaw officers haven't been there in 6 weeks. They phone him and ask him if they can come. His message to them is, you can come if you're buying water, if you show up here in your capacity under, and he also called out the mayor of Burlington, and all the agents that act underneath them. And he put them on notice. And he said, if you guys come into my business, $25,000 fine trespass per person that enters. And he's kept them at bay. This message needs to be known. And I know Adamson's Barbecue, he went the legal route, and I applaud the man. He's got some big balls. What he did was amazing. But there's another way. So I'm just going to leave it at that. We got a couple more speakers up here. Look into common law. Check out Christopher James, a warrior calls. Don't get confused when you go on there. There's a warrior's call. It's not that. It's a warrior calls. Christopher James. Look him up. All right, we're going to get Bridget and Zoe up here from the Lion Youth League. Say a couple of words. Let's hear it for the young kids here, because that's what this is all about.
Hi everyone, we're here with the Lion Youth League, and I think today we'd like to specifically call on all the parents that are in the crowd or watching online. Last week we tried to talk to the kids, but I want to talk to the parents today. So, we have to ask the question, what are we here for? And there's a lot of things you could say. Some people like to be specific and go into, I'm an advocate for not mandating the vaccines or for farmers, but overall, what are we here for? We're here for the people before us who fought for our freedoms, to uphold that. And more than that, the generations after us. The generations after us, because we're the ones who have to live with what we leave here. What you leave is what the people after you have to live with. This is what we have to deal with. Last week we said that we are the ones who have to pay the taxes for this. We didn't ask for this. So I ask that if you are parents, and this is why I'd like to stress the importance of getting kids involved, because we're here for each other and we want to fix it. So if you're a parent, you can contact us at theline.youthleague, theline.youthleague on Instagram. Or we're at the same event right now. Come talk to us. We're here smiling, asking to meet people. Every single week we're here. So just come talk to us and we can connect. I know that there are parents who want their kids to get involved, but they have no one to talk to. Well, guess what? We're here now. Come talk to us.
That was very well said. I just wanted to say, my friend Earl, he's homeless. He asked me to share his story up here. So I just want to thank you, Earl. If you see this, thank you for letting me share your story. Because this is very similar to a lot of what's happening to a lot of people on the streets. Earl, he used to work in Calgary, Alberta. He was there for 11 years working at a hotel. He lived there. He got his last paycheck in March, and he, with 24 other chefs, had to leave, and this was the only place he called home. He used his last paycheck to take his flight to Toronto and ended up homeless here. The rest of his money is going to child support for his daughter, who's, I think, 12 years old. So, I don't know, everybody keeps asking me, or whenever I'm doing outreach or anything, are there really that many homeless that have become homeless because of this lockdown? the thing is, you just don't hear their stories because you don't want to talk to them. You don't want to go up to them and say hi, smile at them, or hug them because you're scared of them. You think they're going to kill you because they're living on the streets, because they have your supposed dangerous virus, or that you can affect them. And you know what? That just hurts. Hurts so much. Hurts that he isn't able to see his daughter in Calgary, because that affects his child too. So, Earl and anybody else with a similar story like that, you can reach out to us. We're all here for you guys. We're here for the kids. We're here for the vulnerable. So I just wanted to share his story because these stories aren't being told at all. Okay? So, well, I think we're both finished here. And
So, just to reiterate, if you are trying to get a hold of us and you can't this week for whatever reason, we're here next week. We're on Instagram at theline.youthleague, and our email, if you want to talk to us via email,